Are you panicking right now for what to do with your 5 free transfers? Well, what if I told you there are some key FPL assets to consider to stop the rank slide and help get us a green arrow again? They come from a team that we were targeting in game week 1 that is doing quite well now. Another player that is a low price asset who's lighting things up. My favorite player to hold right now and not get out of our squads. Another player who we all know is rising in price and scoring brace after brace. And then finally, a player that is ready to explode. Not like what Mo Salah just did, but on the field in the fixtures to come. Welcome to my channel, this FPL Game Week, where I, your host, Femi, aka FPL Big Fem, are with you every game week to help you get up the ranks, share strategies and tips, and just try and persist in this crazy game. Okay, here we are after game week 15, and we've used, I bet a bunch of you have used a few of your transfers. So we're all thinking about what to do. We've been falling down the ranks with some very low scores in the last couple of game weeks. And so what I want to do in this video, you're going to learn the players, 5 key FPL stars to target. And I'm going to give you a few more stars as well. So I think we're all in the same boat. We have 5 free transfers. Some of us have less because there were some moves that you guys had made quite quickly since receiving them. And that's okay. But we have these transfers and we don't know what to do. So what I wanted to do with this video is explore the key players that I think, 5 key FPL stars that we should consider for our upcoming teams to stop the slide and, really try and get back up the ranks. So without further ado, let's go into these 2 players. Okay, so the first team to look at and its players is Aston Villa. So remember back into game week 1. I know it's a long time ago, but we all had Ollie Watkins forward at Aston Villa in our drafts. Unfortunately for us, Ollie didn't really perform and he was quickly transferred out. Some of us held him for a lot longer. This is no longer the case. Aston Villa is in bang form. They've won 5 in a row and they just topped league leaders Arsenal at home 2-1. Watkins looked really good in that game, getting into dangerous positions and getting shots off. He's definitely an option as we look forward at the forward slot moving forward. I know a lot of us have Mateta. I would try and find the funds to get to Watkins at 8.5. In defense, we have Matty Cash. Matty Cash scored a goal against Arsenal. He's been scoring a lot of goals this season thus far and looks really solid as an option on our defense. And he's only under 5 million. And then finally, we have Emi Martinez. Emi Martinez, he's a penalty-saving goalie, but very consistent player for Villa. And, with the World Cup coming up, he wants to get into top form. And so as a goalie option at around 5.1 million, he looks like a great choice as well. So there are 3 great assets all at Villa, and their fixture run does look good with West Ham away from home next. So I don't see any reason why these guys cannot continue to keep performing. So they're definitely ones to consider as you look at who to get and round out your team. And I've given you an option in defense, forward, and goalie. This next player, I wish I took my own advice on. So my Friday column last week, I had mentioned that the person who posted their team should take out Gravenberch and put in Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. Surprise, surprise, what did he do? He delivered a 16-pointer, and he's only priced at 5.0 million. So he's such a great option to have. I unfortunately went Grealish instead of Szoboszlai, and that wasn't really rewarded. But Everton, they are currently in 6th, I believe. They're playing extremely well, and I don't see anything stopping Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall from continuing to perform at such an elite level. He's not in my squad, of course, like I mentioned, but someone to consider at only 5 million, and his price is definitely going to rise. The goal notification on X almost got me, but then VAR took it all away. The next player that I'm going to discuss is Semenyo. So he's been really close to returning in the last few games, especially in last week, and I think he's still a stronghold. He has Manchester United away this week in game week 16, and then he has Burnley at home. I think he can get something in these 2 games. But in addition to that, if you look at his numbers, he's still one of the top scoring midfielders in the game. And, he's outscoring Bruno Fernandes, a more highly priced asset, which a lot of people seemingly do have, by over 15 points, even with his run of blanks. So I think Semenyo has, great route to points in terms of the DEFCON appeal. Obviously, bonus if he gets anything. And then he plays 90 minutes. He's not going to AFCON. And now with his price at around 7.4, he's really, in a good bracket to get. So for me, he's a strong hold. Of course, if you have the funds to go from Semenyo to Foden, I think you should do that, but not for me in my current team and setup. I can't do that move. So for me, I'm going to ride out Semenyo and see where it takes me. And hopefully, we can get some returns in FPL points in the next two. Okay, I just briefly touched on him in Phil Foden. Of course, he's doing so well, and I don't have enough funds to get to him. So for me, I'm gonna wait and see. I'm gonna see how the Champions League fixture against Real Madrid goes, and make my decision if I should, use some transfers to get him in. But if you do have the funds, I would go for him. Not only is he in red hot form, which a lot of people have talked about, Man City is probably going to score the most goals this season, and we know that Haaland isn't going to score them all. So getting Foden is just great insurance if you do have Haaland, and that's the way I would look at it as well. Is should Haaland blank, you have another star that can pick up the slack and get points too. So he is a great option and one to definitely consider and look to get into our squads as moving forward. And finally, in this series of players to target to stop our slide in FPL, it's Jarrod Bowen. So Jarrod Bowen, I think with him, I've always been a fan because he's one of those star FPL players. And what I mean by that is he's the one to get the bonus points should he score and get, returns. And he plays full 90s. He has the captain armband and all the responsibility at West Ham and really is their most dangerous player. So for me, when I look at him, he has World Cup aspirations. He had an article back in November where he talked about how he considers himself alongside Saka, Foden, Palmer, these FPL stars that we typically would have in our teams, if not for injury and being a little bit out of form this season. So with Jarrod Bowen, I think, he has that motivation. He wants to be on the plane to go to the World Cup. And I think he's going to continue to try and perform. West Ham's form has gotten better. Nuno has stabilized the team, and Jarrod Bowen has been scoring lately. So I think he leads the forwards and shots in the last 6 game weeks as well. So I think he's a great option. He's at 7.5, easy flip to him out of some of the other underperforming assets. Should you have like a Mateta? And, he's someone that I'm strongly considering to get into my squad and fit him in for this next run because I know he'll play 90. I know he'll be around the bonus, and he is a really good footballer as well. So that's my list of FPL assets. If there are anyone who I missed, let me know down in the comments, but would love your thoughts. Are you trying to transfer any of these players? Who do you have of these players? And now we can go into our review of our team for game week 15 and review the squad now. All right, so let's take a look at the team. So we finished on 41 points. As of recording, I have no one in the Manchester United Wolves game, so that's why I can just jump right into it. So let's take a look at our goalie in Henderson and see how he did. So he finished on 3 points. Obviously, in this game, the big news was Munoz wasn't in the lineup for whatever reason, whether that be injury or some other potential personal issue. But that, didn't really help things from a fantasy perspective, not having him in the lineup. So Henderson had the 3-pointer there. Calafiori, away game to Aston Villa, tough squad fixture. And, the Arsenal just never could get going. Their squad is having a little bit of an injury crisis, and a lot of their players in the engine room in the midfield, Rice, Zubimendi, are tired, and it shows. And they're just not able to get it a second gear, so that affects the whole team, obviously. And Calafiori didn't have the best performance and finished on the 1-pointer. Munoz, the big 0-pointer. I'll have Collins come in on the bench from him with 3 points, as he didn't play and wasn't in the squad. And then finally, Ruben Diaz. Hello, Mr. Ruben Diaz. Thank you for that great strike outside the box. I know, that was really impressive. And I did bring him in because I thought he would get me some points soon, and he really, really delivered. And I'm very happy with that selection, and he'll be a strong hold moving forward in the squad. In midfield, Jack Grealish was the 1-week punt I brought in for Szoboszlai. It didn't really work out in the sense that Szoboszlai outscored him by 5 points, but we'll take the 3-pointer and move on because Everton does have some good fixtures and their team is playing quite well. Odegaard had 2 points. He had a lot of good shots in this game, and I like him as a really big differential moving forward, especially as we see how he's trying to get back into rhythm, and he's the captain, so he definitely will play. So he's a little sneaky option for me in the midfield moving forward. We had Rodgers with 2 points, had a lot of good opportunities from a ball carrying perspective, but didn't really threaten too much in that game against Arsenal in the early game in this past weekend. Saka had the assist, and what did I tell you guys? I said as the Arsenal squad starts to come back together, I think we're going to see Saka's input increase. Now he has returns in 3 straight games, and he's playing a lot better. So as long as he gets the minutes, I do expect the returns to continue. And then finally, Semenyo, he had that goal ruled out via VAR. And like I mentioned at the outset, I think he's a strong hold in the squad. And then finally, when we look up front, we have Thiago with 2 points. Brentford had a little bit of a slump in this performance, disjointed performance against Spurs, shutout there. So Thiago, again, is another hold in the squad. And then Haaland, our captain choice, who blanked. Again, the robot is human. And, for those who went Foden in the squad, captain, congratulations, or who had him as well in the squad. It was just a good idea because, Haaland won't return every game. So there's weeks to go against him. And that could be part of more of my strategy moving forward, just based on the amount of minutes he's playing and the amount of fixtures that they have in the league and in the Champions League. And then quickly on the bench, we had Leno with a 2-pointer. Collins with 3 points coming in, like I mentioned. Dominic Calvert-Lewin scoring again for the 3rd straight week with 6 points, and then Ballard with the 1-pointer in the squad. So that's my wrap up. Overall, I'm just outside, the top 7K in the world. So definitely a huge opportunity to push on. And I do have 2 chips to use. So perhaps we'll talk about that strategy in another video this week. But that was my team for Game Week 15. So finally, I wanted to round out this video by looking at a little bit of a dilemma I have, as I have my 2 chips left in free hit and triple captain. I think I'm going to use the triple captain in Game Week 17 with Haaland at home to West Ham. So that's pretty much taken care of. But the free hit, it's a really tough one in terms of should I use it this week. We have some really great fixtures for a lot of my players in the squad, and players that obviously I could get on free hit, with Arsenal at home to Wolves, Aston Villa away to West Ham, Brentford at home to Leeds, and then Fulham is away to Burnley, with Chelsea at home to Everton. And, the Chelsea-Everton fixture is interesting, right? Because Everton, like I mentioned, is in 6th and playing quite well. So maybe that's not the gimme that we all thought. But when I look at my squad, I see I already have a lot of these players, a lot of these teams and players, and some of the best assets from these teams. I have, Saka as a great captaincy option. I have Thiago as well for Brentford. I have Collins. I have, Grealish even away from home, which I think Everton can get something from that game. And then I obviously have Semenyo, who I'm holding away against Man U. And then I have Rodgers away to West Ham. So it's a little bit of a tricky one, because if I use the free hit chip, I'm only going to change maybe a few players, right, to these other favorable matchups that I already have my players in. So I really want to know what you guys are thinking of doing if you have a free hit or wild card. And then we do have the 5 free transfers, which further complicates things, as maybe I even keep some of these players who have good matchups and target some other players. But all in all, I'll have better thoughts on this as I, wait for the Champions League fixtures to go and the Europa League fixtures, and then I'll decide later in the week. But give me your thoughts on what to do. But ultimately, I'm currently thinking not to, and just using transfers to, plug some gaps and get some players I may be looking at. And we'll have more in a video later this week on who those options may be. But that is it for now. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe below. I'm almost at 50 subscribers. I launched this video just 2 weeks ago. So thank you so much for everyone who's subscribed thus far. But if you could please support me, it's free to do so just by subscribing and joining those who like my content. So thanks so much, and I will see you again in the next video. So there you have it, my top FPL assets to consider to stop your rank slide, as well as a look at and review of my team in Game Week 15, and a brief look at my team as it lines up for Game Week 16, and my dilemma of should I use my free hit chip. If you like what you're seeing, please like and subscribe below, as well as let me know what you're going to do with your remaining chips in the comments. And as well, I'd love for you to check out the first video I did on this channel, which is my top 3 areas for sustained FPL success. It's going to give you a little bit of a guide to help if you're struggling as to, what players to pick to help you get up the ranks. I'm currently ranked just outside this top 7K and looking to push on from here from now. So thanks so much for watching this video. Look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye for now.